Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we're going to be discussing Red Right Hand, a Scream fan film. Let's get into it. Red Right Hand is a 2022 Scream fan film directed by Matthew Schuff and Jake Tyler. So right out the gate, just like any other Scream movie, this film is full of references to other horror movies and horror characters, as well as the actors who played those characters. So if you're a horror fan, and especially a Scream fan, you'll have fun with this film. About a quarter of the way into it, it became kind of a game for me, just to see if I could spot all of the Easter eggs. Some of them were in plain sight, and some of them were a little more deep cut. But this isn't a spoiler review, so I won't go into detail and give any specifics away, because I want to be respectful to the team who made this film, first of all, and I also want to be respectful to any new viewers who haven't seen it yet. But you can certainly tell that the team who did this really are horror fans themselves and are well versed in the genre, which isn't a surprise to anyone who watches Killjoy Jake's channel. This dude loves his horror, and he especially loves Scream. He keeps his finger on the pulse of the Scream community, and that's definitely the guy to go to if you're wanting reliable Scream news. There's other reliable ones too, but you can't go wrong listening to Jake. But I digress. Also, in true Scream fashion, this movie does start with a cold open before the title card, which I thought was done pretty well. Nothing groundbreaking here, but it didn't need to be. They did add their own flavor, which I thought was actually pretty neat, but overall you can tell they were just trying to make a solid Scream film with a solid Scream opening, and they wanted to pay homage to its source material, and I think they nailed it. But at the same time, I really liked that this film wasn't a copy and paste of any of the franchise films we've already seen. It did the Scream thing, and I think it pretty much did it right. But it also did its own thing, and I appreciated that. It's set in the same universe as the other films as well, which I thought was a fun little thing. Within this movie, the Stab movies exist, as well as Windsor College, so that's a cool little nod to Scream 2, and that's actually where our characters in this film are going to school. So that means all of our characters and events from the actual franchise films exist here, and so I thought it was pretty cool the way they expanded on that universe. And of course, you can't have any Scream movie without the meta commentary on the landscape of horror, as well as being self-aware and poking fun at the genre. The end of this film even pays homage to Jake's own channel, as well as other content creators, so that was a fun little moment to see. And back to what I said about this not being a copy and paste, and again, I won't give you any specifics, but I like how they handle the killer reveal in this film. It takes a different approach than what we've seen before, and it felt fresh, and I appreciated that. And last but not least, I really enjoyed the musical cues in this film. Everything from the movie soundtrack to its actual score. It was very Scream-esque, and you'll see exactly what I mean when you watch the film. But as for any negatives, guys, it's really hard to be too critical of this movie. It is definitely a professional and competently made film, but it's also a fan film, so they obviously didn't have the same budget and resources that a big studio film is going to have. So as a result, some of the technical and visual aspects of this film suffer in ways that any low-budget film is obviously going to suffer from. But honestly, it gives the movie its own little charm. So with that being said, before I give my rating, guys, I want to explain some things. See, I personally grade movies differently depending on a couple of different varying factors. For instance, if you're a big studio film, as I mentioned earlier, especially a franchise film, and you're given a $20 million budget and ample resources, then I'm going to be a lot harder on that movie than I am a group of fans getting together and pouring their heart and soul into a fan film. So having said all that, I think these guys knocked it out of the park with this movie, and I'm going to give it an 8.5. If you're a Scream fan or even just a horror fan, I highly recommend you see this movie. I really think you'll have a great time with it. So go support these guys. I don't know if they have any future plans to make a sequel or expand on this universe somehow, but if they do, I want to see them get a bag full of cash so they're not limited by budgetary constraints, and they can turn whatever vision they have into a reality. So, have you guys seen Red Right Hand? If so, what did you think of it? Let me know down in the comments section, or you can find me on one of my socials, which are linked in my video description. And in the meantime, go ahead and like and share this video if you haven't already. Please subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.